Hey there, John Williams. You made the statement that capitalism is all about winning the market, and I'm not even sure what that really means. I'm not sure how one wins the market. Do you mean that one sells its products regardless of what people are willing to pay for it? Does this mean one can force other people to buy his product regardless of whether or not they're willing to buy it? Because this sounds an awful lot like socialism. Whatever you meant by it, I'm sure it doesn't have that much meaning other than to set up your game theory segue, so it doesn't really matter. Capitalism isn't about winning the market. Capitalism is about freedom of choice. One's right to live, one's right to own property, your freedom to run your business as you see fit. And this doesn't mean that you can kidnap babies from Africa and force them to work in your factory that produces poison and sells it as candy. And so if you're still confused after this video, I hope you go watch those. And even if you aren't confused about capitalism, a lot of them are really good videos, and I think you should check them out regardless. You said that when a market is very young, it has the largest number of participants. What are you talking about? There's no way that we have less companies today than we did back when America's market first opened. Hell, there's no way that we even have fewer companies today than we did 10 years ago. And I'm pretty sure that the consumer base is much, much more diverse than wealthy individuals and technology enthusiasts, though you kind of made an errata to that term by having the enthusiasts double as people who not only embrace the progression of technology, but also people who do ample amounts of research on the products they plan to buy. So just to clarify a few things here, you said that in the early stages of a market's development, it has the most number of participants, which I've just come to assume means people running businesses, though I wasn't exactly sure at first because your wording was a little ambiguous. And your consumer base is split between two people, wealthy individuals and enthusiasts, which is also kind of confusing. Are you implying that wealthy individuals don't spend their time doing research before they buy products? And if that's what you're implying, I don't think you understand the kind of difficulties it takes to maintain wealth. Either that or the only wealthy person you bothered to study is Paris Hilton. You said that the ideal conditions for capitalism occurs when the consumer base is a whole bunch of well-informed individuals. Why? Why does this matter? It makes no difference what other people buy. You don't have the right to decide for them. Again, the meaning of capitalism, the right to individual choice. Individuals make the marketplace, not you. The ideal conditions for capitalism are not when everybody's well informed of the products they're buying. It's when it's capitalism. That's when the ideal conditions are met. Is when people are free to choose what they can and cannot buy. Okay, not when the government is stepping into everybody's private affairs, regulating their businesses, dictating what they can and can't be allowed to buy, dictating what price this product's going to be marked at. Okay, capitalism, the ideal conditions for capitalism is when people are free. You said as the game progresses, the number of participants or competitors decreases. Yeah, it's just totally insane that you would arrive at that conclusion. I mean, you and I both cannot fathom the number of companies that exist in today's marketplace, yet you want me to somehow believe that during the early stages of America's market development, and this was before we even had a global market, that there were somehow more companies that existed back then than there do today. It's insane. I mean, come on, you even said in passing that you recognize the consumer base growing, and then you said that that's the reason why companies merger, and that's not the reason why companies merger, by the way. Companies merger because usually you have two consumer groups buying from two different companies, and if this company becomes one, so does the consumer group, and that one company sees, the corporate level employees and then the employees that stay on see an increase in pay. Did you not think about the fact that as the consumer base grows, so does the demand, and when there's more demand, there's more opportunity to make money off selling a product in that industry. I mean, just think about computers. When computers were first invented, there were like 2 computer manufacturing companies. Now there are literally hundreds, if not thousands. The car, back when the car first came out, you could count on one finger the amount of car companies that existed. Ford. Now you would take like thousands of hands to count the number of car companies that exist. You keep talking about a company winning the marketplace by getting bigger and bigger. And I know what you're hinting at. You're hinting at a monopoly. But the thing is, a monopoly by definition is impossible without government intervention. Sure, a company can be the sole provider of a single product, but that's not a monopoly. A monopoly is when you can sell that product regardless of what the market dictates its value to be. So to put this in perspective, because I'm not too confident you could make this abstraction on your own. If you were the sole provider of bread, and you were selling bread at $100 a loaf, and people decided that that's not the price they want to be paying for bread, and you didn't lower your price, they would just stop buying from you. And then myself or an individual like me would come into the business of selling bread and sell it at a much lower, more affordable price, and run you out of business. And the only way you could keep your monopoly is if you had the government pay you to stay in business and threaten us with violence to stay out of business. So they protect you by not allowing anybody to enter into your business and compete with you, so you can just dictate the amount of money you're going to sell your bread at. And that's how monopoly is maintained. It's not maintained by a company just getting so big that they buy up everybody. That doesn't happen in real life, okay? Anybody can enter the computer industry, and Microsoft can't force them out of business. They can probably offer them an insane amount of money, but that person is not being forced to stop their production of their product. I mean, they can stay in business for as long as they want.